Hi, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, my guest is Elsa Nilsson, who is a flute player and composer. She was born in Sweden and came to the US when she was 18 and studied music here. And she is also a band leader and, a wonderful person and musician. Welcome, Elsa, to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So great to have you. Now, we met through Eric Lawrence, who's also been on the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and his episode's coming out. And you actually played on a piece of mine that was inspired by pygmy music, Baka Bakianis. We've actually had that piece on the show.
Oh, cool.
Also. So you've already been heard in this, and on that piece you played bass, flute, and piccolo.
Yes.
Right, the extreme ranges.
That was extreme.
And you did a great job. So tell me about growing up in Sweden and your early influences in music.
Well, growing up, as you can hear, I don't have a Swedish accent.
At all?
Because my mom is from California. So I grew up with one foot in two very, very different cultures, and it made me always look for things that are similar between cultures and between people, and just because the way I would look at things was that I started looking at music that way too. So I started, like when I was 12, I think, there was a choir that was visiting my younger brother's choir. That was a South African boys choir. And they were incredible. It was the Drakensberg School choir. And they did a lot of classical music, and then they did a full hour of traditional South African music, and I became obsessed with it. I was going to move to South Africa after high school, and instead I moved to Seattle.
Well, you went to school there too, right?
I did. Well, my mom had a very good argument. She's like, you're from Sweden, and maybe move somewhere else first.
And you went to Cornish, right?
I went to Cornish College of the Arts.
Yeah. And studied a lot of Brazilian, I think you said.
Yes. I studied with Jovino Santos Neto at Cornish.
Wonderful musician.
Yeah, just because flute fits very well in Brazilian, and in jazz, which is what I actually went to school for, it's a little less common.
Yeah.
So it was an easier route for me to get into improvising.
Yeah.
To go through the Brazilian channels, and then once I graduated from there, I started really working on jazz.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Brazilian music as well.
It's amazing.
It's, to me, I think if I had to pick one music in the whole world that had everything, it would be Brazilian, because of the harmonic development, the melodic lyricism, and of course the rhythm, which is tremendous. Anyway, you compose a lot of your own music, and you do it, of course, with your flute, but also piano. Tell us about your composition process.
I mean, it's very much like writing a diary. It just sort of comes out, and whatever instrument happens to be there when I need to write is what I write on. A lot of the time when I'm on tour, I won't have a piano, so I'll just record flute into my phone, and then when I get to a piano, I will figure out what the harmony was that I was hearing, just so I have the memory of it.
Sure.
But it's very spontaneous, and it's the songs are done when I write them down.
Right.
I just have to find them.
So do you wait for stuff to hit you, or you sit down and try to squeeze something out?
Both. It hits me a lot, and I started writing music before I started writing anything else. The first song I wrote was when I was 6.
Wow, amazing. Yeah.
So it's a way that I've always communicated that's felt clearer in terms of expressing emotion and in terms of expressing ideas than words do to me.
A lot of people don't know much about Swedish music, myself included, although I love certain things I've heard, like the fiddles and
the key harp?
Yeah, the
Nyckelharpa?
Nyckelharp, is that a Swedish thing?
Yeah.
Beautiful sound.
They're
I
amazing.
love that. But also there's an indigenous Swedish music from the north, right?
Yes.
And so tell us just a little about that.
That's the Samer. So they're way up north. They're a reindeer herding people who, it's the indigenous Swedes that are not the Vikings, but it's a beautiful culture.
Yeah.
Which absolutely recommend checking them out.
You said it was a bit similar to Native American.
There's some aspects of it that are.
Yeah. Musically, I mean.
Musically, yes. And a lot of their music, they have particular vocal styles that are for communicating over large distances, which is one of the ways that I got into singing when I was a kid, was just like this really powerful way of singing where it's just about communicating the message.
Right.
But there's no words, because you can't hear words at a distance. It's just, how do I get a tone that conveys the power and conveys the message, and then the melody is like, this melody means come home, this melody means stay put because it's dangerous, or whatever they mean. But music as a source of communication rather than entertainment.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I get it. Now, I'd love to go to our first video. It's a piece of yours called Shift. Want to tell us a little bit about this piece, or the band? Or
Shift, it's with my band. It's the Elsa Nilsson Quartet, with Jeff McLaughlin on guitar, Alex Minier on bass, and Cody Rahn on drums. And we recorded it in Woodstock, New York in June of 2016. This piece is Balkan inspired, so the rhythm is, it's in 17, which is not necessarily a rhythm that you find in Balkan music, but it's, I'm using the same concepts for how to, how to deal with odd times that you use in those musics, and it makes it feel like a dance.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the video right now and listen and watch this. Fantastic, I love it.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. And it really demonstrates this blending of cultures, right? 'Cause a lot of people hear that and go, oh, that's jazz, but it's not really just jazz. It's taking some other elements.
Right.
Yeah. And you certainly have a beautiful, fluid, improvisatory style, which is great. I wanted you to share with us a little bit about your philosophy of making music and what that means to you.
What I'm constantly looking for is the common ground. And to me, jazz is a really good platform for that. But I want to bring in as many ideas and as many cultural elements that I can in a respectful way of finding ways that these cultures actually can link up and can connect instead of focusing on how they're different.
Yeah.
Because that's usually the focus where you're talking about Brazilian music, or you're talking about all these different styles as if they're different, but they're music. And I like the idea of finding the commonality as a metaphor for how we can find that as people.
I think it's great. That's a great idea. Yeah, I think it's really important. So I would love to go to the next video also. And this one want to say a little about it, or
Yeah,
where it's coming from?
this is Vårvindarfiske. It's a
I
Swedish.
wasn't going to try to pronounce that myself.
I saw that in your face. Like I should say the title.
Thanks for saving me.
Yes. It translates to spring winds, fresh spring winds, and it's a Swedish folk melody that I've mixed with dabke, a rhythm from Syria and the surrounding regions, and it's a dance rhythm. And that's one of the big conflicts in Sweden right now, is between the people who are arriving from
refugees.
Yeah, the refugees and Sweden. And I like the idea of blending these two cultures in terms of look at both the beauty in both, and look at what we have in common rather than looking at how we're pushing each other away. So was my idea with writing this piece, or combining these two.
That's great. Let's give this one a listen and check this out now. Oh, very nice. That's really lovely. You being a world fusion composer and musician, I wanted to ask you your thoughts about cultural appropriation.
My thoughts on that, we touched on that a little bit already. I think a lot about this just because I think it's important to be respectful about emulating other cultures. And I think there's a really distinct line between appreciating and being influenced and trying to copy. And I'm never going to try to copy. I'm never going to say that I can play these styles or these rhythms or these things as well as someone from that culture. What I want to show is just that they can work together.
Yeah.
That's my mission with learning about these cultures, and I'm interested in learning about them. Whenever I meet someone from a country or from a culture that I don't know anything about, the first thing I ask them is, tell me your 3 favorite artists. Because I want to learn and I want to know about these other cultures, and for me, music is a really wonderful window into that. And if in using those other cultures in my music, if I can get people interested in looking at these cultures in a more human way, that's what my goal with that. And that's like, and it's a gray area, of course. Like, if everything about culture and appropriation is a gray area to me. But I think as long as you do it respectfully and as long as you are aware that you're not covering someone's culture, you're trying to learn from it.
Well, you know, it's interesting too, because because of the internet now, we're in a new world
Right.
in terms of being able to share our cultures and our creative ideas in blending these cultures in a way that never was possible before.
Right.
And that's an incredible opportunity for artists everywhere. And I'm certainly trying to do this with the show.
Absolutely.
Skyping with people from all over the world to bring their creative ideas and their vision for what is world fusion, you know, into our world here, so we can share that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one more video to go to,
Yes.
and you call this one Sparrow Bat. I can
Sparrow
pronounce
Bat.
that one.
Yes.
So tell us about this.
Sparrow Bat, it's that time of night, right? You know, when the thing that flies into your hair, if you can't tell if it's a sparrow or a bat.
Okay.
What this is this artist that I really love, his name is Tobbe Eriksson. He's a Swedish artist, clearly.
A painter.
Yes. He made this series of 6 birds that are just stunning, and their attitude is incredible. And I asked him what they were dancing to. He's like, I don't know. So I was like, well, can I write them songs?
I'll write them
and this is one of those 6 songs.
Nice.
And what it is Sparrow Bat, the melody was just a waltz, and then I brought it into this band called the Mateadors, which is a collective group, which you're about to see. And the drummer's from Argentina, the bass player's from Brazil, and then me from Sweden, and then guitar players from the US.
Yeah.
And they turned it into this whole other thing using rhythms from Argentina and some Brazilian stuff in there. And
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
it's
right?
great. I love it when my vision gets expanded by people who know more than me.
Well, we always love that. We all love that. Let's watch this right now. Nice. Great band. So is there anything else you'd like to share with us that you feel you want to share with our audience about what you're doing?
About what I'm doing.
Or what's coming up for you?
Yeah.
Things you're excited about?
I mean, there's always so much.
Yeah.
Like that's a really beautiful thing about music, is that you never know.
Well, you live in New York, too.
I do live in New York, which is also a very you never know.
It's true.
Yeah. No, just find something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, find something you enjoy and really listen to it. And try to find something that's outside of the box that you're comfortable with. Because there's so many beautiful things that won't hurt you, that are just outside of the reach of what your comfort level is.
That's right.
In terms of music, I mean, maybe don't pet a snake.
Well,
but
there's danger out there.
Yes.
So, Elsa Nilsson, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And gracing us with your beautiful flute playing and compositions and your philosophy of music. We are going to now go to the part of the show where we do some live in the studio World Fusion improvisation.
Yay!
And I'm psyched. And we're going to be joined by Cody Rahn on percussion. So I'm really looking forward to doing that as well. All right.
Me too.
All right. Okay. Hey, this is Derek Jordan, and thank you for joining us today on the World Fusion Show. And remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.